just released their preseason schedule for the 2023-2024 season. Usually preseason schedules, yeah, they're boring. It's really a non-factor, non-news, but there's some interesting things here that I think we need to discuss as far as this preseason schedule does go. So I think the biggest thing that the Raptors are doing with the preseason this year is they are going to Vancouver for the first time in 5 years, as you see from the news over here. So the Raptors are going to be going to Vancouver. I think that this is a great thing for the country, great thing for basketball in Canada. We have some excellent things for basketball Canada on the horizon. The FIBA World Cup is coming up. The Canadian team has put together a very nice roster of players. Like, just having players want to go is such a breath of fresh air for Canadian basketball guys wanting to play for the country. And as far as the odds go of winning the tournament, the Canadians are second favorite behind the U.S. Now, there is a big gap between the odds of the Canadians winning over the Americans winning, but being recognized by odds makers as the second best team in the tournament is nice to see. And it's showing where Canadian basketball is going, and in an attempt to continue to try and grow the game, the Raptors are heading to Vancouver. Interestingly, along with heading to Vancouver for an October 8th game against the Sacramento Kings, I think it's great that we're involving the Sacramento Kings and going to Vancouver to play because, as you may know, the associate head coach of the Sacramento Kings is Jordi Fernandez. Jordi Fernandez was selected as the replacement of Nick Nurse as the Canadian national team basketball head coach. Nick Nurse did not want to relinquish the role, but the 76ers, according to reports, made him relinquish the role, and he helped in the process of picking a new coach. That was Jordi Fernandez of the Kings, who I actually really wanted to be the next Raptors head coach and was kind of advocating for him as my top choice to get that role. Nonetheless, along with going to Vancouver on October 8th against the Sacramento Kings, the Raptors have another very interesting matchup. I know there's a lot of Australian fans and Australian supporters of this channel, so that's going to be great for them. The Toronto Raptors are playing a preseason game on the 15th of October against, oh my goodness, the Cairns Taipans. Don't know if I said that correctly. You know, my most viewed TikTok is an Aaron Baines video where I said he plays for a team in Australia, but they play in Brisbane, the Brisbane Bullets. And in the video, I called them the Brisbane Bullets because it's spelt Brisbane. Like look here, the Brisbane Bullets. I pronounce it Brisbane. It's Brisbane. And that TikTok picked up so much steam in the algorithm because it got so much interactions of Australian fans and Aussies giving me shit in the comments. So thank you to Australia for helping get that TikTok to 200,000 views because you got mad at me for how I pronounced the city. So the Cairns Taipans, however you say that, they're going to be playing them. And that's going to be a fun one because I know there's a lot of Aussie interest in the Toronto Raptors based on the supporters from this community. Interestingly, DJ Hogg played with the Raptors in Summer League, and he is on that Australian team. Also featured in Summer League is going to be a game against the Bulls on October 17th. That is going to be away at Chicago, and they're going to be at home at the Scotiabank Arena against the Washington Wizards on October 20th. I believe we're at Scotiabank Arena, it says, for that game against that Australian team. So not unlike teams to come out and play here, but NBA's yet to go. Yeah, I think the NBA starts October 24th, and based on the last preseason game in the 20th, it could be even after that. So regardless, very interesting games coming up. One of the interesting things kind of about the Cairns Taipans is their jerseys. They have some of the nicest jerseys in the sporting world. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about this stuff, but like this jersey is absolute 10 out of 10 fire. They come out with some absolute heat of jerseys, and I hope there's a way to purchase them in Canada as a result of this game because they make some pretty sweet gear. But what I wanted to more focus on with this, the Raptors making a point of going to Vancouver, pleasing Vancouver fans. It's a great way to spread the game in Canada, but also it's a really interesting potential for Vancouver to showcase the Vancouver basketball fan base. Fans in Vancouver have been clamoring to get a team back in Vancouver, and this could be a bit of an audition for the crowd there. Obviously, the Vancouver Grizzlies played there from 95 till I believe it was 2001 before moving to Memphis, and the fact of the matter was ownership sucked. They did not know how to market a basketball team to Canadians. They did not stumble on Vince Carter elevating the game for the city and helping make a better team, but ownership sucked. There was a limited amount of fan interest. Maybe those two go hand in hand, but ultimately, Vancouver could not get fans to show up for basketball games. They had the worst attendance in the league for a number of years. They had to move away, and who knows, maybe things in Toronto turn out differently if Vince Carter doesn't get doesn't get traded to the Raptors on draft day. But ultimately, Vancouver, they moved their franchise to Memphis. Vancouver fans obviously want to get a franchise back. And I think what happened last summer, really opened my eyes to the Montreal market, because the Raptors did play a preseason game in Montreal. It was a sellout crowd. The crowd was awesome. The crowd was rocking. Toronto are privileged to have an entire country supporting them. So the fan base is massive. If you like basketball in Canada, you're pretty much a Raptors fan. But anyways, a very fun preseason game against the Boston Celtics. I believe they had a comeback win and ended up beating the Celtics at the Bell Center. But I remember seeing tickets because there's a lot of Montreal supporters in the amateur army here, people from Montreal who were at the game or wanted to go to the game. Tickets, like the absolute worst tickets for a preseason game in the gods, up in the rafters of the Bell Center, were like over $200. So fans turned out, fans wanted to see that. So it kind of was a good audition for Montreal that, hey, if we're interested, the NBA is interested in putting a franchise somewhere, Montreal could certainly be a candidate to do so. They have the facility, they have the Bell Center already to do that. Clearly, there is a fan base in play that loves basketball. I didn't really think Montreal could house a basketballing team, but after seeing this preseason game, it kind of opened my eyes to the potential of doing that. Now, as far as expansion, if the NBA were to expand, I think the two obvious cases for expansion to the NBA, Seattle for one. There's a massive basketball market out there that want their team back. They already have branding. Like, they could just call it the Supersonics and they'd be fine. And also Vegas. Vegas could definitely house the basketball team. But behind those two, I think, is Montreal. So I'm very curious to see how Vancouver does as far as their preseason attendance goes. But yeah, Gerald and Chaz, Big Country Reeves. What an enigma of a player. There was some special things about that Vancouver Grizzlies team, but very few things, and very few people got to see it because nobody actually turned up to the game. But what I think killed the Vancouver Grizzlies franchise, ownership did not know how to market a basketball team. They kind of recycled the same marketing schemes they used for hockey, for basketball. That didn't work. Canadians just didn't know enough about basketball in the late 90s. So now we're in a different state. Basketball is big in Vancouver. I'm wondering if this could be their audition here. But ultimately, what I want to see from preseason as far as the Raptors go, and we'll end this segment on this, I'm really excited to see how Scotty Barnes looks, first of all, because last season, Scotty Barnes looked really bad in preseason, and it kind of spilled over into the NBA season. So I really want to get Scotty Barnes up and running before the regular season starts, get him on a good start, get him in the right frame of mind, and get him, like, this could be the breakout season, right? The way we were talking about him last year, like, this could be the massive leap. A little bit less hopeful there, but still holding out for that big jump for Scotty Barnes. What a special talent the Raptors have. Want to get him a running start going into the season, and really looking forward to seeing the point guard battle, because will it be Scotty Barnes at point guard, first of all? Dennis Schroeder's obviously in the point guard depth, but other than that, it's wide open for guys like Malachi Flynn and Jeff Dowd in particular, but also guys like Marquise Noel and Javon Freeman Liberty to carve out some sort of point guard role here. And if somebody really impresses in preseason, well, that just might land them some sort of rotational spot for the upcoming regular season. So, some interesting games to look out for. I think it's going to be great. You have the Canada national team head coach in Vancouver. You've got an Australian team coming down. If that's at Scotiabank Arena, I'm going to try to go to that preseason game. I don't go to many Raptors games, but I'm going to be on vacation. Not going to that game. I'm going to be on vacation at the time. But those games are coming up, so something that Raptors fans finally have to look forward to. Raptors game days are on the way, and I am pumped.